Hi, this is Sanne Philipson. This video is going to be about bravery. How do you say that? Bravery? Being brave and courageous enough to stand up for yourself. I've just seen a program on my television about all the females and women from, that's the same, about all the women from the 60s that stood up for themselves. They dared to step out of the box that all these men for centuries has put us in. It was amazing. I weren't supposed to cry. But if it weren't for these women in the 60s that stood up for themselves, there wouldn't be any of the rights that we females or women have today. I would not have been capable of being in the army for 10 years. It would not have been possible for me to have my own business company number in order for me to be self-employed. The world wouldn't be what it is today if it weren't for all these women. How often are you grateful for the persons that came ahead of you and cleared the path? Is that the word? Cleared the path in front of you? Who am I? I'm Sanne Philipson. I'm an intuitive mentor from Denmark. I have now today fully accepted that I am a spiritual and divine person. Up until I was 28, 10 years ago, I suppressed my femininity. I suppressed all my weaknesses because I thought being a woman was a punishment. Then I ended up in a wheelchair, and I realized that I choose these things I have down here. I choose to become a female in order for me to stop suppressing myself like men has done for decades and centuries, and reincarnation after reincarnation. As you can hear, I am spiritual. I believe in reincarnation, and what I have channeled from above and sent out to my clients and followers here online, all these women just confirmed on the television that this is the first reincarnation ever where we are all equal. Men have suppressed us women for many thousands of years because they were afraid of us. They have been afraid of us because the strength that we have within us, the strength, that's a hard word to say, they have suppressed us and been afraid of us because of the strength that we women have, because we are stronger than you amazing, gorgeous men. And that's not a bad thing. That behind every strong and amazing, gorgeous man is an even stronger and more amazing woman. We cannot live without each other. Even though when it comes to gays, I don't like that word. I like to say men that love men and females that love females. We are all equals. One of the sad things about America is that what I believe, I'm just a stupid dame, but my personal belief is that religion or politics splits us up, divides us. America is all about the Republican or the Democrats, but we are all equal. Why fight about something as stupid as politics? We all have the same DNA. We all built the same material. Cells, flesh, blood, flesh and blood and water. Each one of our brains is 70% fat. Each one of our body contains 70% water. We are so equal. And still, we fight each other. Why do we not become friends around the whole world? Because people fight themselves. We fight ourselves for our beliefs. We hate ourselves for being what we are, weak. But we are not weak, we're soft. There's a big difference. I hated myself up until I was not only 28, but perhaps 32, 33, 34, 35. I hated myself for what I thought was my weakness. No, it was for my softness that I hated. It was my softness that I despised, and that is why I thought that I came to this Mother Earth being a warrior. That is why I went in to become a Lance Corporal in the Danish army. That is why I have been boxing on the national team and boxing for 8 years. That is why I saw myself more as a male, a warrior, than being like those women, soft, weak women. Everything that is going around, everything that is happening around the world is because of fear. We are afraid of what we do not understand, and we are also afraid of what we cannot cope with. The hardest thing for each one of us to cope with is a vulnerability that comes from in here, from my heart, which is in there. Each one of us has voluntarily chosen to incarnate again on Mother Earth. One of the mistakes that each one of us has made when we came to Mother Earth was to think that spirituality and all this magic is wrong and dangerous. So we have learned to suppress that thing within us instead of releasing ourselves. When we came to Mother Earth, we thought we had to live up to something, live up to our parents' demands, live up to their love, live up to their acceptance. That is one of the biggest mistakes one of the biggest things that we have programmed each one of us with, thinking that we have to make an effort. I have to be good, I have to look good, I have to do everything correctly. That is what breaks us apart. That is what makes each one of us burned out. When I was 28 years, I was burned out. I was done. I couldn't work again. I could not work out among other people because of the pressure I constantly overwhelmed myself with. I ended up in a wheelchair. I was about to sell my motorcycle. I had just quit my job in the army. I had just said goodbye to boxing at the national team. I had just said goodbye to my family, who did not accept me for who I was in my heart. Someone who has always went that way that I felt for, rather than walking the way that others told me to do. I was going through a tractor on my motorcycle, and the tractor turned. I was up in the air. My tractor hit the big my motorcycle hit the big tractor wheel. I got tossed over the tractor, and I went around and around and around in the air, and I was kind of like, the light will never be switched on again. And when I was up there, I suddenly realized, I get it. This is my second chance. No, my last chance, because this was the fifth. I get it. I understand it. And suddenly, I was no longer tumbling in the air. And I opened my eyes. And there was the tractor wheel. There was the engine. And the 16-year-old child was sitting up there. A child driving this tractor. I couldn't move. He was still driving. And you should have seen his face when he saw me caught there in the middle. So he stopped the tractor, and I yelled at him, "You did not see me. You did not even turn your head. You did not even use the blinkers. and you did not even use the brake so that I could have seen that on your light. I just yelled, and I fell to the ground. And for a while I was sitting in a wheelchair, and I realized my left leg was almost torn off. Everything within my left leg was torn, and I knew it. I had to stand up. I have to accept who I am, which is about the left side of our body. The left side of our body is about femininity and receiving and being vulnerable and accepted and speaking up for yourself with your heart and emotions rather than suppressing yourself. And the right side of our body is the masculinity, the power, the control, the we're gonna go that way. The worst thing that we can do as a person when we get here on Mother Earth is to think that we need to suppress the spirituality and being a divine person within us, so we fight that thing within us. We also fight the weaknesses within us, which is not a weakness, it is our vulnerability. It is within a person's vulnerability that we will find our strength. That was the word again, strength. So, the third thing that we do, that is one of our biggest mistakes, is to think that we have to be perfect. And the fourth one is to believe that we have to live up to something, and that we have to be in a certain way in order for us to be loved and accepted. In the 60s, the female movement started rising. I don't know because I'm not old enough to know that. And I do not know a lot about history because I was bored in school. I was out somewhere else enjoying myself, looking out the windows. So history didn't say anything to me because I have learned life when I started to learn when I went out of school. I can read and do all those things. It's not about that. But I just realized today that the female movement began in the 60s, and I'm not aware if it was also outside of America, but of course it was. But because of you gorgeous, amazing women in the 60s, oh, I'm gonna cry. I'm sorry. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't be sitting here today, being courageous enough to stand up for myself. You have made it possible for me and other females to go out there. We can smoke a pipe. We can become ladies that love ladies. I don't like the gay word. We can become self-employed. We can become contractors, lawyers. Whatever we want, we can go that way. You have made that possible. So thank you. You gorgeous, amazing women who stood up for yourself, who made a difference in the world. Today I receive emails every day from people telling me what a big difference I have made and do make every day for sharing my videos, because I share my channelings that I channel from above. Everything that I know, everything that I pick up on, I share it. I have membership I can't say that word. I can guide it. Continuity groups. I can't say it. I make a huge difference for other women today because someone has taught me how to be courageous. Not the family that I came from, but watching television, but reading books. Thank you, you gorgeous, amazing lady. If I saw any of you, I would give you a huge hug. So just receive it right now. From the bottom of my heart. Thank you for making it possible for each one of us to follow our heart and stepping into the light. Today I dare the same to step into my light. When I was in the army, a friend of mine was raped. She was raped by a private sergeant. He was just a sergeant under training. I was the one that went to the press. I was the one that got beaten up by my colleagues in the press. But I did what the other females didn't dare to do. I went to the press, and other women went along. After that, I quit my job in the army. And whenever I read about it in the newspaper, when I read about another female who told her personal story, I cried. Because I knew that I had cleared the road in order for these women to do the same. I stood up for my friend who didn't dare to do it for herself. Today I dare to stand in my own light and show the world that I am Sanne. I'm me. I'm not perfect. I'm me, a human being. I'm spiritual, and I accept that. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you received something from this video. I just needed to empty my thought and my heart. I'm sorry about the lights, but it's 6:30 in the evening, and I just had to share this. If you would like to leave a comment, that would be much appreciated. Have a great evening, and thank you for listening. And remember, tell the people around you in your world, in your daily life, how grateful you are for them. Dare to stand up for yourself. Even though you sometimes feel lonely, you are perfect. You are divine. You are loved. You are gorgeous. Dare to be who you are in your heart. Thank you for watching, and have a great evening.